friends, my name is Pranav Shukla and I welcome you to my online tutorial. Today we are going for a poem namely on killing a tree. Friends, it is a common poem in 9 NCERT as well as 8 Rain Tree English syllabus. So it is useful for both the kind of students. So let's begin with the poetry. Friends, it is written by Jeev Patel. He is an Indian descent and settled in abroad, and he comes with a very powerful message, with a very powerful poetry. We have a number of poetries, friends, giving us the message that we should save tree to save our environment, to stabilize the climate change, and to reduce the effect of global warming up to the maximum. But all the poetries have become very ordinary against this poetry on killing a tree. It is also my personal favorite because it is a poetry with a difference. Sometimes this poetry is misunderstood or misinterpreted by even number of teachers because the title itself suggests something very awkward, something very confusing, and so would be the entire poetry. See the title on killing a tree. It's obviously about how to kill a tree. Obviously, killing a tree means cutting a tree, removing the tree from the place it is. And if you just go through the poetry, you will see in the entire poetry that the poet here gives us the way how to remove the tree permanently from its place. He says that if you cut tree, if you just cut all the limbs, all the branches and the entire trunk up to the soil, the tree will again rise from the place where it is cut. May take some time, but will definitely grow. So he says that if you really want to remove tree permanently, that means if you want to kill the tree, it should be uprooted. The roots are to be pulled out. So that seems to be very cruel, very wicked, very merciless, very inhumane. But with this irony, the poem itself is an irony on the intentions of the mankind. It is just like when we fight with somebody, so in anger we say, okay, kill me, poke me, okay, stab me, clutch my throat, just kill me, don't leave me, your problem will be solved. So we do it just to, this is an aggression. This is the kind of way we actually keep that particular person who really assaults upon us away from us. So this really affects the person who really assaults us just to kill us or just to hurt us or harass us. He comes to know that we are not afraid of him. It is the saturation of our tolerance, and then he would be stepped back. So the same kind of psychology is used by Jeev Patel. Here tells us if you really want to kill tree, remove tree, then don't cut it. Simply root it out from its earth cave, from the soil itself, and it will be died. So by this irony, by this paradoxical way of putting the poetry, he gives a very powerful message and a very powerful urge to us that we should really save the trees. So as far as the poetry is concerned, I can say here the poet sensitizes the reader and highlights the fact that the trees are living things. He equates trees with humans to convey that the trees should not be cut because destroying trees is just like killing a human being. A tree does not die by merely cutting because it regrows from where it is cut. If it has to be destroyed, then it has to be uprooted. So friends, you will see a very powerful use of, I can say, imagery and personification. Here the tree is portrayed as a human being, and killing a human being the way it is ruthless, very painful, very hurting. In the same way, it is also very ruthless, very wicked, and very hurting. Killing a tree, cutting a tree. So just the way the human being is very much afraid and very much alert and very much affected by while killing a person, same kind of feeling or sensitivity or that sensation is created by the poet uh, as far as the tree is concerned. And tree is very strongly compared with the human being and is given the human emotions and sentiments by by using the word like hurting and I can say bleeding and all these human terms are used actually. So just to affect us and make us realize that killing a tree is as good as killing a human being. So our emotions, our sentiments are really targeted by the poet, and a very powerful poetry is the outcome of this process. So let's go for reading the poetry, friends, very quickly. So this is on Killing a Tree by G. Patel. It is for 9 NCERT as well as 8 Rain Tree English syllabus. Now we have the first stanza in front of you. So in this stanza, the poet tried to simplify the fact that a simple cut does not destroy a tree because a tree grows gradually. It is rooted in the soil, and a plant takes nutrition from the soil to grow into a big tree. The tree is firmly bound with the soil. It takes sunlight, water, air to grow into a strong trunk and have numerous leaves and sometimes even flowers. So this tree is very strongly grown and it really takes huge effort and a lot of time to get it cut. So let's go for line to line reading. It takes much time to kill a tree, not a simple jab of the knife. Well, you just take a knife and the way you cut vegetables or way you stab a human being and it will be hurt and will be died or killed. So it is not as simple as that. Not a simple jab. Jab means uh, stabbing somebody or giving a cut to somebody using something very sharp like knife. It's not job, it is jab. So not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It is grown slowly, consuming the earth. It is grown slowly, consuming the earth, friends. Here, consuming the earth means all the kind of, I can say, nutrients that is taken by the tree from the earth just to get it grown. So this term is used for it. So it has grown slowly, consuming the earth means taking all the water, all the required nutrients from the earth, and it rises out of it, feeding upon its crust, its upper layer, its all the layers are actually fed by all the nutrients and water provided by the earth. So feeding upon its crust. Crust means the earth crust, which stores minerals and all the nutrients that is very useful for a tree to get grown. So feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air and water. So you know the process of the tree growing. It requires sunlight. The leaves absorb sunlight and chlorophyll really starts cooking, feeding the tree. It also requires air as well as water, and then it gets grown, and after taking a lot of sunlight, air and water, its strong trunk is developed, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves, sprouting malab coming out, sprouting just to get out suddenly and gradually, sorry, suddenly, not suddenly, but gradually come out of it something would be called as sprouting out of its leprous hide. See friends, here hide means the strong bark of the trunk of the tree. And as you have seen the tree trunks, it is highly discolored. It has got lots of cuts and lots of awkward skin patches. You can just see on the left hand side bottom screen. It is the picture of the discolored bark of a tree, and you can just see on the right hand side there is a person who is suffering from leprosy. You can see his hands and his face. It is discolored, the skin is peeled off, and lot of skin is bulges out into bubbles, and swelling is there at places on the skin. So it looks to be very ugly and very discolored one. So this discolored bark, strong tree trunk is compared with a person suffering from leprosy. So it is a very powerful imagery is used over the very unusual one, but it is there. So on and all, the poet tries to convey that the tree is very firmly, very strongly bound with the soil. It takes in sunlight, water and air to get grown and into a strong trunk, and this trunk has got numerous leaves. So the tree is grown to be very strong when it takes time, and it takes a lot of efforts to get it cut. It is not the matter of simple jab using a knife, just like a human being. Just to make it more clear, I've just given you a very close-up pictures. You can see left hand side the leprous man suffering from leprosy. See his face over there is discolored, and on the right hand side you can see the leprous hide means bark which is discolored. So here the tree trunk is compared with the man suffering from leprosy. So it is for your reference. So further the poet says, so hack and chop. Well, we can hack it. Hack means cutting very roughly by striking some heavy blows. So you can hack and chop. Chop means after getting some big tree blocks down, you can just chop into some small wood pieces. So hack and chop, but only hacking and chopping won't serve your purpose of killing the tree. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. And it means, friends, it means killing the tree. Not so much pain will do it. Well, if you just cut the tree, chop it, hack it, so obviously the tree will feel the pain. But this even pain, well, if the human being's organs or body parts are cut, so only cutting the body parts will not kill the human being, but the pain by which it is felt would actually kill the human being. But as far as tree is concerned, even a lot of pain will not kill the tree. Even if you cut it right up to the soil, you can just see this tree is cut right up to the soil. But even from this cut, from this height, you can just be assured that this bleeding bark, the way the white juice that comes out, that is the resin of the tree that is compared with the human blood. Even if it is bleeding, this bark will heal. It will stop bleeding. You can just see this tree over there. It has now stopped bleeding. There is no white juice coming out. But from this situation, from this cut, it will be healed. It will be recovered, and at times it will just get grown again. And if it is again kept it unchecked, uncontrolled, if you don't control its growth, it will again grow to the former size, again a big tree. So Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs. Again, the growth can be seen. Some miniature, some small boughs. Boughs means branches, which if unchecked, if uncontrolled, if it is not controlled, if its growth is not controlled, will expand again to the former size. It will again get grown into a big tree. So you can just see the process of hacking. This is hacking of the tree. This is the tree cut but not uprooted. So this kind of tree again get grown to the former size. So in this stanza the poet says, humans cut and chop the bark of the trees into many pieces, but it is not sufficient to destroy the tree. The point of the tree which gets cut gives out sap, just like a human being bleeds. Gradually this would heal, and from there new branches start growing again. So what to do to destroy the tree permanently? So here the poet says, no, the root is to be pulled out. You can just see the man is pulling the tree, right, tying with a rope. And when the tree gets out, you can just see the roots are out in this picture. And when the roots are out, it leaves a huge ditch or a hole into the earth. You can just see over there, this is called as earth cave. And here we have the roots which were encaved inside the earth, now are exposed. They were continuously absorbing the water, and as they have remained inside the earth, they are white and looking wet. And this is the source of life for the tree. And this source is taken out, so it will ensure the death, the destruction of the tree permanently. So this is the right process of destroying the tree that is very ironically suggested by the poet Jeev Patel. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. Earth gives anchor, tying up or getting connected or joined with something would be called as anchored. So the tree is anchored with the earth using its roots, and these roots are actually pulled out. How to pull out the root? So it is to be roped, it is to be tied very tightly, and it is to be pulled out. Not pulled out, I can say, it should be snapped out. You just give a very heavy pull, and it just is pulled out and disconnected with the earth with a kind of heavy sound. So this pulling with a sound would be called as snapped out. So it is to be roped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave. Here is the earth cave. Here is the hole where the roots were encaved. So earth is compared with cave over there. And the strength of the tree is exposed. Here the strength of the tree is the use of metonymy. That is the quality of the roots. That is the task of the root that provides the strength to the tree. So the roots of the tree are called as is strength, and its strength is come out, it is exposed. So what is exposed is actually the real source of the tree, and it is white, it is wet, it is the most sensitive part of the tree, and it was hidden for years inside the earth. So the whole stanza says that in order to kill the tree, it has to be uprooted, and one has to separate the tree from the earth which supports it. The roots of the tree bind the tree with the soil in the pit of the earth. From there, the most sensitive and the hidden part of the tree, that is roots, have to be detached, and roots are white in color and are damp, wet. So this is the simplification of the entire stanza. Now what happens? See, then the right time comes. Your purpose is going to be served. How? Once the tree is out and lying on the ground, you can just see this tree is lying on the ground, it's uprooted. Again, another picture of this uprooted, detached tree from the soil is there. So, then the matter of scorching, then nothing to be done. Well, no need to chop and hack and cut any part of the tree. The weather which supported, the climate that supported the tree, now the same climate will destroy the tree. Because you just taken out the source of its life. The way the whole human being, well, if you just cut the different parts of the human body, if you cut the hand and leg, and then still the human being will survive. But if you just take out the source, well, if you just bleed it entirely, if you just hurt the heart of the human being, just hammer upon the brain, these are the sources of human beings, their lives. So if they are destroyed, the human being will become a dead body and it will be decayed very soon, and the weather, the climate will affect upon the human body. It will be decayed and excavated and eaten by the germs and will be completely destroyed. No need to cut any human part, any body part of the human being. The same thing happens with the tree. Even if you cut all the branches, everything, even the trunk up to the soil, it will get grown. So it will not be killed. But if you just root it out and don't even cut any part of the tree, slowly, just because the roots will not be able to absorb the water and all the nutrients from the soil, the tree will not get the nutrients, will not get the nutrition, and will be dried, will be scorched under the sun, will be choked without air. Gradually it will be brown, it will be hardened, it will be nailed, twisted, and it will be withered. It will be, I can say, destroyed. Withered means excavated. It will be scorched, and ultimately it will be the death of the tree. So then the matter of scorching and choking, scorching in the hot sun, choking means without air, as the leaves are totally deadened, so will not absorb the sunlight and no chlorophyll will be effective. So it will be choking process for the tree. So it will be scorched and choked in sun and air. It will be gradually losing its real color, its fresh color, its bright color. It will be browning. Then it will become very hard and brittle. So it will be hardening. It will lose all its moisture, water inside it. So it will be hardening. Then because of being hardened, it will be twisted at it will lose its flexibility. So, and then withering, getting destroyed, getting excavated, getting I can say getting rotten. So rottening, excavating process will be started, and this would be the death of the tree, and then it is done. It means again the killing of the tree would be done. So the simplification of the stanza is, once the tree has been uprooted, gradually it withers and dries up with the action of heat and wind. The trunk will become brown, twist, and will harden, and finally the tree will die this way. So very ironically, G. Patel has conveyed us the message that we should take the trees as human beings, and for our small benefits, little benefits, like getting furniture and extra luxury and extravagance. We should not actually put the existence of all the species, including human being, that is dependent upon the trees in danger by cutting trees. So we should save the trees and grow more and more trees, because killing a tree is just killing a human being. So this is killing a tree, friends. I hope you have enjoyed the poetry. I'll get you the question answers very soon, and we'll go for the next chapter very soon. Thank you very much for joining me.